Satsang Chaluk, Dr. Mohan Bhagwat ji, Sri Gajendra Singh Sandhu, Sarvadhikari, Sri Rajesh Loya, Nagpur, Mahanagar's Sangh Chaluk, Sri Ramji Harakari, Vidar Prant, Sangh Chaluk, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I am here amidst you to share my understanding with you the concepts of nation, nationalism, and patriotism in the context of India. That is Bharat. These three concepts are so closely intertwined that it is difficult to discuss any one of them in isolation. Let us make a beginning with the dictionary meaning of these three words. Nation is defined as a large group of people sharing the same culture, language or history, and inhabiting a particular state or area. Nationalism is defined as identification with one's own nation and support for the interests, especially to the exclusion of interests of other states. Patriotism is defined as devotion to and vigorous support for one's own country. Let us examine these three concepts in the context of India. India was an open society, globally connected along the Silk Route and Spice Routes. These busy highways of commerce and conquest witnessed a free exchange of culture, faith, invention, as merchants, scholars, conquerors, and sages traversed mountain and desert and sailed the oceans. Buddhism reached Central Asia, China, and Southeast Asia together with Hindu influences. Many ancient travelers came to India and gave their account. Greek traveler Megasthenes came in the 4th century BC. Chinese traveler Fa Hien came in the 5th century AD. And Chinese traveler Huanshan came in the 7th century AD. All of them have described India as having the efficient administrative systems with planned settlements and good infrastructure. In education, Takshashila, Nalanda, Vikramshila, Pahlavi, Sompura, and Odanpuri comprised the ancient university system in India that dominated the world for almost 1800 years, beginning with 6th century BC. They were magnets to attract the finest minds and scholars from all over the world. In the liberal environment of these institutions, creativity found full form, art, literature, and scholarship flourished. Chanakya's Arthashastra, an authoritative text on the statecraft, was also written during this period. India was a state long before the concept of the European nation-state, which gained ground after the Treaty of Westphalia in 1648. Their model was a defined territory, a single language, shared a religion and a common enemy. That was the model which led to the formation of various nation-states in Europe. On the other hand, in stark contrast to that concept, Indian nationalism emanated from universalism, the philosophy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Sarve Sukhina Bhavantu, Sarve Santu Niramayo. We see the whole world as one family and pray for the happiness and good health of all. Our national identity has emerged through a long-drawn process of confluence, assimilation, and coexistence. The multiplicity in culture, faith, and language is what makes India special. We derive our strength from tolerance. We accept and respect our pluralism. We celebrate our diversity. There have been a part of our collective consciousness for centuries. Any attempt at defining our nationhood in terms of dogma and identities of religion, region, hatred, and intolerance will only lead to the dilution of our national identity. As Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan said, any differences that may appear are only on the surface, but we remain a distinct culture, cultural unit with a common history, a common literature, and a common civilization, unquote. In the words of eminent historian Vincent Smith, India, beyond all doubt, possesses a deep underlying fundamental unity, far more profound than that produced either by geographical isolation or by political superiority. That unity transcends the innumerable diversities of blood, color, language, dress, manners, and sect. If we have a quick look at the history, the emergence of Indian state can be traced back to the days of Mahajanapadas in the 6th century BC. In the 4th century BC, Chandragupta Maurya established a powerful empire in the northwest and northern part of India. Emperor Ashoka was the most illustrious king of this dynasty, whose reign has been described as the brightest interlude in the troubled history of mankind. It was he who, at the height of victory, converted the sounds of Bheri-Ghosho, war drum, into the sounds of Dhamma-Ghosho, sound of the drum preaching peace, fraternity, and love. After Maurya dynasty, again India was broken into small kingdoms, spreading all over the area. Then came the Gupta dynasty, around 3rd century AD. Many dynasties and Gupta dynasty collapsed in 550 AD. Many dynasties, powerful kingdoms, ruled India in northern and southern part. In the 12th century AD, after losing the battle at Tarain, Delhi was captured by the Muslim invaders. The next 600 years were the Muslim rules, and which was finally taken over by a mercantile company, East India Company, winning the battle at Plassey in 1757, and thereafter with the success in 3 battles of Arcot, a mercantile company, East India Company, captured a large part of territory in eastern India and southern India. A size, big chunk of the West India, the British Emperor received as a gift, marriage gift, which was also annexed to the administration of East India Company. East India Company, for the facilitating of a centralized modern administrative structure, established the institution of the Governor General, located at Fort William in Calcutta in 1774, and 2 other governors, one at Madras and another at Bombay. However, after the First War of Independence in 1857, through a proclamation of the Queen, the administration of this vast land was transferred to the British sovereign, and an institution was created in the British cabinet system, which was known for the Secretary of States. However, a particular point is to be kept in mind. Throughout the period of 2,500 years of changing political fortunes and conquests, the 5,000-year-old civilizational continuity remained unbroken. In fact, each conqueror and each foreign element had been absorbed to form a new synthesis and unity. Poet Rabindranath Tagore very beautifully and magnificently described. I am quoting 2 lines and I am saying it in Bengali, and thereafter I will translate in English. Keho nahi jane, kar aovhane, koto manusher dhara, durbar srote, elo kotha hote, সমুদ্রে হলো হারা. No one knows at whose beckoning call how many streams of humanity came in indomitable waves from all over the world, over the millennia, and mingled like rivers into the vast ocean and created an individual soul that is called Bharat. Distinguished participants, the concept of modern Indian states were articulated by various scholars, philosophers, thinkers, and political leaders. From the platform of Indian National Congress, Sir Surendranath Banerjee, in his presidential address in 1895, and in his autobiography, which is known as A Nation in the Making, conceptualized the Indian nationalism. This nationalism comprised all Indians living in the British Indian provinces and 565 princely ruled states in India. When Bal Gangadhar Tilak, a great patriot, gave voice to the phrase coined by Barrister Joseph Baptista, Swaraj is my birthright and I shall have it. He referred to Swaraj for the people of whole India, encompassing various castes, creeds, religion spread across British India and princely states. This nation and nationalism was not bound by language, religion, or race. As Gandhiji, explained Indian nationalism was not exclusive, nor aggressive, nor destructive. It was this very nationalism that Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru so vividly expressed in the discovery of India, and I quote, "I am convinced that nationalism can only come out of the ideological fusion of Hindu, Muslims, Sikhs, and other groups in India. That does not mean the extinction of any real cultural or of any group, but it does mean a common national outlook to which other matters are subordinated." Unquote. In the process of our movement against the British rules, the various anti-colonial, anti-British, and mostly progressive movements across the length and breadth of the country were ultimately unified in a cohesive national struggle for freedom, keeping the feeling of patriotism above everything, individual, ideological, and political leanings. Ultimately, we won freedom in 1947. Thanks to Sardar Patel's untiring efforts, the princely states of India merged with the British Indian provinces, leading to the consolidation of India. The complete integration of provincial and princely states took place after the formation of states on the recommendation of the States Reorganization Commission in 1956. On 26 January 1950, the Constitution of India came into operation in a remarkable display of idealism and courage. We, the people of India, gave to ourselves a sovereign democratic republic to secure for all its citizens justice, liberty, and equality. We undertook to promote among all citizens fraternity, the dignity of the individual, and the unity of the nation. These ideals became the lodestar of the modern Indian states. Democracy became our most precious guide towards peace and regeneration from the swamp of poverty which was created by 190 years colonial rule by Britain. For us, democracy is not a gift, but a sacred trust. The Indian Constitution, consisting of 395 articles and 12 schedules, is not an instrument for administration, a legal document, but a Magna Carta of socio-economic transformation of the country. It represents the hopes and aspirations of billions plus people in India. From our Constitution flows our nationalism. The construct of Indian nationalism is constitutional patriotism, which consists of an appreciation of our inherited and shared diversity, a readiness to enact one's citizenship at different levels, an ability to self-correct and learn from others. Distinguished guests, friends, I want to share with you some truths that I have internalized during my 50 years and more public life. As party activist, as member of parliament, as member of cabinet. The soul of India resides in pluralism and tolerance. This plurality of our society has come through assimilation of ideas over centuries. Secularism and inclusions are a matter of faith for us. It is our composite culture which makes us into a nation. India's nationhood is not one language, one religion, one entity. When I shut my eyes and dream of India, from Mizoram to Dwarka, from snow-capped Himalayan to way west, was Cape Comorin, I mesmerize how it is possible 1.3 billion people use more than 122 languages and 1600 dialects in their everyday life, practice 7 major religions in their everyday life, belong to 3 major ethnic groups, Caucasians, Dravidians, and Mongolites. Yet, under one system, one flag, one constitution, and one identity, which we may call Bharatiya, Indian. But we do not identify any enemy. That is, makes Bharat diverse and united nation. In a democracy, I believe informed and reasoned public engagement on all issues of national importance is essential. A dialogue is necessary not only to balance the competing interests, but also to reconcile them. Divergent strands in public discourse have to be recognized. We may argue, we may agree, we may not agree, but we cannot deny the essential prevalence of multiplicity of opinion. Only through a dialogue can we develop the understanding to solve the complex problems without an unhealthy strife within our polity. Peaceful coexistence, compassion, respect for life, and harmony with nature form the foundation of our civilization. Every time a child or a woman is brutalized, the soul of India is wounded. Manifestations of rage are tearing our social fabrics. Every day we see increased violence around us. At the heart of this violence is a darkness, fear, and mistrust. We must free our public discourse from all forms of violence, physical as well as verbal. Only a non-violent society can ensure the participation of all sections of people in the democratic process, especially the marginalized and the dispossessed. We must move from anger, violence, and conflict to peace, harmony, and happiness. For so long, we have lived with pain and strife. I am addressing the trainees. You are young, disciplined, well-trained, and highly educated. Please wish for peace, harmony, and happiness. Our motherland is asking for that. Our motherland deserves that. Happiness is fundamental to the human experience of life. To lead a healthy, happy, and productive life is the basic right of our citizens. While we have done well in many macroeconomic areas, growth indicators show how India is emerging as the fastest growing state in emerging economy all over the world. But we have not fared well in the World Happiness Index. We rank 133rd out of 156 countries mapped in the World Happiness Report 2018. When we go to Parliament, just above the lift at gate number 6, there is a slope inscribed in Sanskrit. Slok is from Kautilya. Praja sukhe sukhang rajo, prajanancho hite hitam, natma priyang hitang rajo, prajanantu priyang hitam. In the happiness of the people lies the happiness of the king. Their welfare is his welfare. He shall not consider as good only that which pleases him, but treat as beneficial to him whatever causes happiness to people. Kautilya placed people at the center long before the formulation of the modern democratic government by the people, of the people, for the people. The aim of the state should be to galvanize the people to fight a concerted war against poverty, disease, and deprivation, and to convert our economic growth into real development. Let the objective of spreading peace, harmony, and happiness inform the formulation of our public policy and guide all the actions of our state and citizen in their everyday life. These and these only will be able to create a happy nation where nationalism flows uninterruptedly, automatically. Satsang Chalok Mohan Bhagwat ji, I beg your pardon as I have exceeded my time, which you were expecting me to speak for. Dhanabad. Thank you. Jai Hind. Vande Mataram.